Hey guys, back with another collection video. Since I made 3 different videos of showing off my kaiju, giant monster DVDs and Blu-rays and all that jazz, and then make a 2-parter of showing off my movie collection, because as you already know, I have quite a huge variety of movies that I collect. And of course, it makes sense for me to also include that in collecting a whole bunch of, well, TV shows and DVDs and Blu-rays as well. So I figured the time was right, and I figured I needed to make it more complete, and hopefully in the near future I'll also be able to show off my video game collection, which, with all the accessories and stuff, that might take a little bit of time. Anyway, if you guys actually want to see that video, just let me know. So I figured I'd show off just all the TV shows and other stuff that I would own, TV show wise. But before we get to that, I figured I'd just address this big thing right here. So this is the Mystery Science Theater 3000 shelf. If you're not familiar with the show, you really need to watch it. It's basically a guy that's trapped in space to watch these horrible, cheesy movies from the 40s all the way to sometimes in the mid 90s or early 90s. It really depends on the movie, but it's just cheesy, horrible, awful films that they basically riff on with his robot friends. And it took me such a long time to not only get into the show, but also to collect the entire majority of all these DVDs, because there's 3 or 4 different ones that are rare, or well, maybe there's more, but still it's a lot of them. And there's even still some episodes where they can't really get the license to the movies and all that copyright stuff. It's too much, but maybe in the near future we will be able to get them all on DVD or physical media or something. I don't know, but I don't really see that happening anytime in the future, because so many people are strict, and it's just one specific movie isn't even on DVD, so it's why even bother if you're not gonna, it's not on DVD anywhere else, so why not just do it? So, I don't know. It's just anyway. So I figured I would just go over this shelf first before I get on to the main presentation. Of course, I won't show every single DVD in this entire set, because most of the Shout Factory releases are pretty similar, but I'll only show off the important ones, basically. So first off, we got Volume 1, and of course with the Mystery Science Theater 3000 DVDs, the first 12 and a couple other DVDs, and even when they released VHSs back in the day, Rhino Video was the first to release these. So of course, later Shout Factory would re-release the volumes, I guess, to have the avid collector not collect these ones, but I prefer these ones because these are more unique in a way. So right here we got this really cool logo right here, and there's this little spin dial right here where if you spin it, I'll try to see if I can. It doesn't seem like it wants to cooperate, but anyway, it's when you spin it around, you see a whole bunch of other characters in there, and I find that really cool. I think that if you were able to make a DVD case interactive or even fun, I find that to be a really cool idea. And also there's this little spaceship right here, from the intro, where you can just pull the tab out and do that. So that's pretty cool. And just about in every volume set there would be 4 episodes. So for the first 4 here we got Bloodlust, Catalina Caper, The Creeping Terror, and Skydivers. Now with this particular set, this would also include the reverse side discs where you could watch the uncut full movie. And that's cool, I guess, but the weird thing is that it didn't really happen on any of the other DVDs. There were a couple Shout Factory episodes where they did include the full movie, probably because they had enough storage space on the disc, or they didn't have enough special features left to store on there. I don't really know, but it's just they didn't include it for a whole lot of the other movies. I'm not sure why, but whatever, it's not really too important. So then with Volume 2, it's kind of similar in a way. Oh yeah, the other thing you need to be very careful about is that if you have any of these tabs that stick out, you want to be very careful not to break them, because if you try to stuff them in there next to another DVD, you can guarantee that they might bend and maybe snap or break off. So be very careful with any of these little tabs if you have these DVDs. So anyway, basically the same thing goes for Volume 2 right here. I think I got this for quite brand new. I want to say I got this sealed out of the box almost, but basically it's kind of the exact same thing. You got the little tab of this Zeppelin right here that kind of shoots out. Thankfully this was the last one they were able to do that, because they probably understood that they didn't want to go through all that work. But basically the same thing, a little tab where you see different screenshots in poor quality, I might add, of the different movies. And this has like Angel's Revenge, Cave Dwellers, Pod People, which is one of my favorite episodes. And this would be the first DVD where they did a volume collection of shorts. So this has shorts volume 1. There was only 3, and I'll be honest, it's a bit pointless for them to do that because you waste so much time of putting, like, it's cool to have like a compilation of shorts. Like, that'd be cool if it was like a bonus feature maybe, but to have it as like its own disc is a bit pointless, really, because you could just literally use that disc for another episode. So they basically did the exact same thing with Volume 3 right here, where they had Volume 2. Now for Volume 3 from Rhino, they had Volume 3 released only via an online order, because if you ordered this right here, Mystery Science Theater The Essentials, which has only 2 episodes of Santa Claus Conquers the Martians and Manos The Hands of Fate, you would get a bonus disc of Volume 3. I do not own it. I believe it's like really rare and obscure, because obviously you would have to order it online. And this was back in the early 2000s, by the way. This is like way before online buying was like convenient. But basically it's like, if you got that, you would get the bonus disc added too. So anyway, of course, the Volume 3 disc would be re-released, and we'll get to that in due time. But basically, this has like only 3 episodes and shorts Volume 2. Now, I do like this cover right here because it's kind of like the door sequence from Mystery Science Theater, where it's like you have all these different tabs you open up. I'm gonna try and show it off the best I can, and then it's just like these open up. It's kind of like a little children's book, kind of like of how like all the tabs open up and stuff. I can definitely say that's pretty cool and unique. But again, it's like one of those things where if you have like sharp fingernails and all that stuff, you want to be very careful not to do it all the time, because the tabs will eventually like deteriorate and all that stuff. So next we got Volume 4 right here, which has this really obnoxious button on the front, which I'm not really sure why is there, but it's still kind of there. But it's kind of cool because like the logo kind of moves out a bit and all that. And then of course we got Volume 5 right there, so that's pretty, has a nice little holographic image on there. And then of course Volume 6, and obviously there's like some texture on the text and a bunch of other stuff, and it seems that they started to focus more on like just making an interesting type of art style for the discs. And then of course we got Volume 7 here. Looks like a nice little TV and the bass fish up there. I think that there's a reason why like the Shout Factory re-releases of these weren't really as good, because they don't have this unique art on it. I don't care if it's like garbage or what, but I think it's really cool. And not only that, I almost forgot to even bring this up, is that with the discs themselves, they have some unique art on them as well, whether they represent the episode or not at all. I think it's pretty cool regardless. And then we got Volume 9, which is like one of those DVDs that really depends on if you get it for a good price or not. It might be $100, which this is what I got it for, unfortunately, and other times I've seen it for way less than that, which makes no sense. But regardless, it's still an okay set. And then of course here we have my very first Mystery Science Theater set. Now there's an interesting story behind this, so settle down if you don't think the video is long enough. So I knew nothing about this show. Obviously I was a huge Godzilla fan. So when I saw this at a Goodwill, and I want to say it's a very vague memory, but I think I saw some other like Rhino Mystery Science Theater DVDs. If I would become a fan, had I known, I would have gotten all of them. But anyway, I figured this was like one of those like compilation movies of like all these different obscure cheesy monster movies, like they own the rights to it and they would have it. Like Mill Creek has done that quite a couple times. But anyway, it's like I thought it was that because it had Godzilla vs. Megalon on there, Swamp Diamonds, Teenage Strango, and Giant Spider Invasion, which is a hilarious episode, by the way. But anyway, so I figured it was like that. So as soon as I took the disc out, and here's the thing, I didn't have a job at the time. I was still young. My dad could only help me afford, whatever things I had. I only had like maybe a couple Godzilla DVDs at the time, and I just basically like had my own makeshift like printed out movie poster of Godzilla vs. Megalon. So I used this disc basically as that. But then as soon as I watched it, I saw the guys doing commentary over it, and I was like, oh, that's so stupid. I hate that they're talking over the movie. So I literally like hid the DVD from my vision as if it never existed, because I didn't really want to throw it away because it was still Godzilla related. So I think I put it out like somewhere out of my mind for like about a month, and then over time I got curious, being like, maybe we should watch that just to see what it's like. And so as soon as I watched it, I got hooked. I just like couldn't stop watching it. There was some stuff I laughed about, and that's how I loved the rest of it. So I decided to watch all the other episodes on there, and it was so funny. I absolutely loved it. And Had it not been for this accidentally releasing on DVD, I may have never been a Mystery Science Theater fan. I might have still discovered them, but I probably never would have been the same, you know? But the other funny thing is that they had kind of a copyright mishap with Godzilla vs. Megalon. So back in the day, they had like a whole copyright mishap with like, and there was a reason why there's so many VHSs of this movie that exists, because someone forgot to put the copyright on there, so everyone assumed that it was public domain. So that's kind of what happened here. So like, as soon as this was on the shelf for like 3 months, they pulled it off, and they decided to replace it with the giant Gila monster, where basically on the DVD bonus feature that's on there, you would just replace it with this disc, which I'm sure nobody freaking did, because why would you do that? But obviously it was just a way of like Rhino and the guys from Mystery Science Theater, you know, covering their butts to be like, okay, we don't want to deal with copyright mishap, because if you mess with Toho about copyright issues and all that, be sure to get your butt sued. So anyway, basically with, you know, the giant Gila monster, I have it packed in with this, because, you know, it makes sense. I want to also say that it's now pretty hard to find, because like mainly with like the slipcover, I was lucky to get it on Amazon for, I want to say $50 ish. I can't really remember exactly, but I got it for pretty much that, and I want to say it might have been one of those online exclusive only things, so pretty lucky I got it that way. Obviously they would release volume 10 to upgrade to 10.2 for that reason. So anyway, moving on from that, then we got, you know, volume 11 right here, and then the last volume from Rhino would be volume 12, and that would pretty much be it. And of course, as I already mentioned before, there's the Essentials collection, and then eventually a few years, or maybe it's not a few, maybe it's just a couple, Shout Factory would eventually own the rights to release whole majority of all these different Mystery Science Theater episodes. Of course, there's like the whole thing of like, you know, obviously they would need to go through a whole thing of like, you know, wanting to get the license to the movies, and maybe do interviews with like the cast of the movie or even the show itself. So it was really cool. They have a huge variety of different special features in there. So first we got technically volume 13, but the 20th anniversary edition of Mystery Science Theater, and then of course it includes like, and this would be like the first one to include mini, like 4 exclusive mini posters, basically like the artwork on the DVDs. Basically like you would hang them up or do whatever you want with them. And it also included like a little mini figurine of Crow T Robot, which I happen to own as well. Nice little guy right there. It's pretty sweet. And of course there would be a couple other things, and we'll get that along the road. But basically, it would come in this nice little tin thing. You open it up, and then there's the collection set right there. Let me try to open this up. And obviously, you might see right now that I have a whole bunch of different like Mystery Science Theater posters. I try to do it in chronological order. Obviously, not all of them have posters, because some of them have been released via, you know, Rhino, but and of course, like not every single movie got their own thing because of like, you know, copyright issues and all. But anyway, so obviously we include like the little mini posters. Here's like a couple spare ones I have, like for Spaceship on Venus right here, and the artwork is like amazing. And then of course we got the little they have like little slim DVDs that they would fit in this little case here. So about 4. Occasionally they would, well, as I mean, only just one time. I think they only had like 5. And again, we'll get to that along the road. So basically, this is a good set to start off with, and a couple of good episodes on here, I do say. And then next we got volume 14. And with this one, I believe is like a bit rare, because this went out of print because they lost the rights to Soul Taker. So they just re-released the other 3 episodes here, along with 3 other ones. We'll get to that along the road. So then, of course, there's volume 15. I apologize, it's hard for me to read Roman numerals. And then, of course, we got volume 16 here. And this one actually included like a box. I have like the box down there, but I don't need to show it. Basically, this would also include a little miniature Tom Servo figurine, which is pretty cool. Love that. And then next, I believe is another rare DVD set where this went out of print, where they lost the rights to The Final Sacrifice. So they had to release like the other 3 along with the other 3 from the last one in the Lost and Found collection, basically. So it's like they still had the rights to the other ones, they just couldn't do it for the other 2. So I guess it's one of those things where it's like you snooze, you lose back in the day. And that's the other thing, is like lots of the Shout Factory DVDs for these like had you know, online exclusive things where if you pre-ordered it online, you would get like these exclusive bonus discs, which are extremely hard to find. And it's just like, too bad I didn't know that, because I was still young at the time when these were, getting released. So kind of unfortunate, but at the same time kind of stupid, because it's like, well, the only way you can watch that is either online or what, because like these were like probably like special promos that you would only see like on Sci-Fi or Comedy Central or whatever they had on there. So anyway, not too important. And then of course, like, I won't show every single one, of course, but basically you get the idea. They're kind of the same thing. And then we have this volume right here, which came with a Gypsy figurine right here, which is the biggest one out of the bunch, and it's really, really, really cool. Unfortunately, they didn't have one for Cambot, but, he's the camera, so what can you do? Anyway, so then, of course, it goes all the way down. Then we got, like, one of my other early first Mystery Science Theater collections where they watch all the Gamera movies. Now this is the one where they had all 5 of them right here, basically all 5 of the Gamera episodes. So it was pretty good. It was really good. And then of course, like I said, we go down the line. Here's like a special edition of Manos: The Hands of Fate, where this was one of the rare occasions where they would have the episode and the full length movie. And oh my gosh, it's a horrible episode, horrible movie, but a funny episode. So. And then, of course, I think this was actually my very first Rhino collection right here, the 25th anniversary edition. And then with this, I had quite a good majority of like different episodes. And not only that, unfortunately, they didn't have a figurine come with this one, but they still had the posters. They had like a double feature in this. So they had Gorgo right here, and then they had Mitchell and the Brain That Wouldn't Die. So it was one of those really rare occasions where they would have 2 discs, and not only that, but have 2 episodes on the same disc. Kind of unfortunate they weren't able to do that all the time, but I guess it's 25th anniversary, so they had to do something with it. And then of course there's the Turkey Day collection. Nothing too special about this one. It's just Turkey Day, because like it's a Thanksgiving tradition about that. Go ahead and look it up if you don't know. But it has this nice cover art and basically the same as the 25th anniversary edition. Nothing too special really. Then of course there's this one, volume 34. Where this one is out of print only within, I think, 5 years after this came out. I want to say because, like, there was an interview in the Viking Women Against the Sea Serpent episode where one of the actresses was being interviewed, and there might have been some sort of weird drama thing going on. I really don't know. I tried to do the best I could to look it up about that, but I don't know the reason. And it's really stupid, too. Because it's like, just because of this, we can't get the rest? And this is, like, a lot of money. Like, sorry. I kid you not. This is like over $300 or more. Why? It's absolutely stupid. It's like, either get rid of the interview or just re-release it already. It's just stupid. Anyway, and then of course for the very last volume, which I believe is 39 right here, they did an online exclusive deal where they had the Complete Poopy set, which is basically the outtake collection. Now, I didn't order this online, obviously, but I managed to get this on eBay for an expensive price, but not too expensive, thankfully. But still, I figured it would make sense because this would be like the only one I would have. I don't know. And the thing is that with 39, it has satellite dishes. Now, what is that? Basically, it's like showing off the rest of the host segments from the episodes that they can't really release. So it makes sense. And obviously, there's like a huge list right here of like the different episodes that they couldn't release, and obviously there's another Godzilla episode on there. So anyway, aside from that, then we got like a couple other things. Here's like some more DVDs that I have that were released from well, first there's a couple of VHSs. I found this at a Goodwill of the episode of Pod People, one of my favorite episodes of the show, and this is how I first saw the episode. It was on VHS. I just figured, hey, why not? And I still have it, of course, because collector's reasons. And it's a really great episode. Now, the other thing is that, like, when they released this episode, The Amazing Colossal Man, there was like some sort of rights mishap or something like that, where they couldn't really release it or something, so they had to pull it off. And it's unfortunate that this was only on VHS, and it's kind of stupid that they didn't get it on DVD. But at the same time, it's like, why not? The movie itself isn't even on DVD, so it's like, why even bother? I don't know. I feel like it's just like some people are just really picky with having their movies released or something. I don't know. But regardless of that, I got this, so that's probably the only way you can watch it. It's either that or you look up on the internet for like stuff that people probably recorded on their VHS, maybe, I don't know. But then anyway, we got more Rhino, and these are like single DVDs, by the way. So we got The Wild World of Batwoman, Beginning of the End, Red Zone Cuba, and another one of my very early DVDs of Mystery Science Theater, the movie. It might be a bit hard to see because it has a really dark holographic type of feel to it. But thankfully, with Shout Factory, they were able to re-release the movie in a Blu-ray DVD set, which is really cool, and it's definitely a hilarious movie. Like, it's basically like another episode of the show, but regardless, it's still absolutely fantastic. And then, of course, just a couple more little bonus goodies for Shout Factory. So here we got like the singles collection. Basically, that means like if these were only released like on VHS or DVD by themselves, just like, you know, the last couple DVDs I showed you of Wild World of Batwoman and Red Zone Cuba. Basically, these were like single episodes that were only released by themselves. So Shout Factory had the courtesy of and doing God's work of, you know, putting them all in one collection. Kind of unfortunate they didn't do it for the other ones, but they kind of really released them. So anyway, it has like The Crawling Hand, The Hellcats, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, which we've already seen, and then EGA, I Accuse My Parents, and Shorts Volume 3. Cool, I guess, but not really necessary, but whatever. And then, of course, we got another rare and out-of-print thing of Cinematic Titanic. Now, this is like the cast of the original first couple seasons of the show that basically did something similar to Mystery Science Theater, but not exactly. Go ahead and look it up if you want. It's actually not too bad. And then, of course, we got seasons 11 and 12 of the Netflix series of Mystery Science Theater 3000. This one's obviously a lot bigger. This one only has about 6 episodes because, you know, it's a gauntlet or whatever. But aside from that, that's about it for the whole Mystery Science Theater 3000 collection. Now we'll get on to the main presentation. Now, I'll do my absolute best with trying to show this off, because literally, like, you can't see it, but in front of me there's like a whole stack of like DVDs, and like my TV show DVD shelf is like off in the corner, and I didn't want to record myself in a, you know, scrunched up, you know, corner just showing everything off. But anyway, before I do that really quick, I did want to show off this big thing. It's not a TV show, but, you know, I just want to do like a little update thing where I got this cool thing, the Blade Runner Final Cut special edition thing. I don't know exactly what you would really want to call it, but basically it's a huge suitcase thing right here of like 5 different ways you can watch the movie, and it's a lot. Blade Runner is one of my favorite sci-fi movies, and it's like really cool. So it opens up like right here. It's like 2 switches, you can do that, and then you just open it up. There's like a whole bunch of goodies in here, which is like absolutely amazing. So first you get this like really clear thing, like a personal like thank you or whatever from Ridley Scott, basically showing off the final cut and all the other 4 different ways you can watch the movie, which is kind of cool, but a little weird to have it in like a clear thing. But anyway, so then you get this nice little folder right here, which shows concept art from the movie, which is like really cool. And then this, at first I thought this was like an actual like still image that was like taken straight from the movie, but not exactly. It's just like in this like plastic wrap and this like clear case thing of like Harrison Ford moving. It's like one of those images that like moves when you move it or whatever. I mean, it's pretty cool, but I almost thought it was like an actual like clip from the movie, but it's not really. It's just one of those other things. And then of course you got the little origami unicorn. It's not actual paper, but it's just like, you know, it's like out of like, I want to say like silver plastic or something like that. Basically, it's something like that. So anyway, and then of course we got like a little toy car, like from the movie, which is pretty cool. And then of course there's the Blade Runner 5-disc collection, or well, not 5 disc, but basically movie collection. So, or maybe it does have 5 discs. Yeah, it does have 5 discs. Okay, but yeah, basically it's like you can watch like all the different cuts of the movie, where it's like the original theatrical cut, the director's cut, the definitive. What is it? It's like, okay, so it has like the final cut, obviously, which is like Ridley Scott's preferred version. Then there's like the U.S. theatrical cut, international theatrical cut, and then the director's cut. And then there's like, I think the original work print version or something like that. I don't know, there's like a lot of different ways to watch the movie. So however you want to watch it, go ahead and do what you will with it. Just, you know, whatever. I still like this set. I got it for like a really good deal, where I've seen it on eBay go for a lot more, I guess you could say. But aside from that, it's like a really good collection. Definitely worth it if you're a fan of Blade Runner. Obviously, with this being like a collector's edition, it's huge and kind of gets in the way of different stuff, which might be hard to store on the shelf, but regardless of that, I still find it really good. Okay, so enough of the, you know, beating around the bush and all that stuff, delaying the inevitable. So we'll finally talk about the TV collection. Now, how exactly do I categorize TV collections? Well, it's a bit harder to describe, really. Obviously, you know, you would put TV shows by themselves, but what if it's like a TV show that's also connected to a movie? So what do I mean by that? Well, take for example the Naked Gun trilogy and Police Squad box set. So it shows the Naked Gun trilogy, but it also has the, you know, the TV show, which only had 6 episodes. So basically you could have this either way, really. Like, the Naked Gun trilogy is probably more known for just the movies, but technically the TV show came out first. So you could put this TV shows because the TV show came out first and then the movies, but for me personally, I thought more and more about it. I thought maybe it's better with the movies because it's more known for its trilogy rather than the actual show, because I mean it only had 6 episodes. Now, same can almost be said for Jimmy Neutron. Now, here's the movie I have where it has also Harold the movie for whatever reason. But anyway, so technically the movie came out first for Jimmy Neutron before the actual TV show did. So again, you can put it in either way. So you can have the movies with the TV show or the TV show with the movies. You know, you can put it either way. You can have, you know, if it's a movie and then it's more known for the TV show, then go ahead and put it in the TVs. You know, but whatever. Do it however the way you want, you know. It's just like, I'm not going to hold that against you or whatever, so just do whatever. However, the same cannot be said for this. I figured I'd get this out of the way before I move on to everything else. So here, I've got this big thing right here. The Pink Panther Ultimate Collection. This is quite a beast. Now, obviously, the movies would technically come first because the first movie was out in 1963. But for me, personally, I thought the cartoons were something I knew more about, really. Now, of course, it comes in this really big case thing right here with like 2 different things. So it comes with this like neat little book guide right here, which is actually kind of cool. It shows like a whole majority of like all the different stuff that's on, you know, all the different things about the Pink Panther movies and the cartoons and all that. But that's the thing. I grew up with the cartoons and never really watched any of the movies until a few days ago, where unfortunately I'm not particularly a huge fan of the movies. Like, I saw the first Pink Panther movie with Peter Sellers. Not my thing. Maybe the other ones are good, I don't know, but I can't really suffer through them. Anyway, regardless of that, so here we have a whole bunch of the movies right here. So there's the Pink Panther, A Shot in the Dark, which is technically connected, Inspector Clouseau, which doesn't even star Peter Sellers. And the other thing is that you'll probably notice, wait, where's the Return of the Pink Panther? Well, for some stupid reason, they couldn't get the rights to it because Universal apparently owns the rights to the Return of the Pink Panther for whatever reason. And so what comes next is The Pink Panther Strikes Again, Revenge of the Pink Panther, Trail of the Pink Panther, Curse of the Pink Panther, Son of the Pink Panther, and then the 2007 reboot starring Steve Martin as Inspector Clouseau. And then obviously the Pink Panther 2 would be released by itself. So it's kind of almost impossible to get like an entire complete collection with all the movies and stuff. But the good part is that also includes all 5 of the Pink Panther classic collection cartoons, The Ant and the Aardvark, which is kind of basically from the same creators, but still love it. And it includes the 2 volumes of the Inspector, the animated show, and then this weird one called Roland and Ratfing, which I've never even seen. I still have yet to see it. But regardless of that, that's the other thing. It's like, well, what do I put this in? Do I put this in, you know, the TV shows? Because like, I for one think it's more fitting because like I know the cartoon's a lot better. But the movies came first, and there's like 11 of the movies, so it's like, which one do I put in? So I didn't really know, so I figured I'd just put it in there just because, well, for one thing, this thing is freaking huge, and 2, I didn't really know where else to put it. I just figured it would fit better with all the other stuff. So anyway, we're gonna move on. So I'm gonna do the best I can because, again, like I said, there's like a whole stack of like DVDs in front of me. So I'm gonna try and do the best I can to try and show off everything. I might have to like put a huge stack somewhere so that way I know where everything's at. So I guess we'll start off with this. So here we got the Doctor Who collection. Now wait, what is this? So when the show was coming out in the 60s, for some weird reason they decided to make a Doctor Who movie series, or just 2 movies in general, with Peter Cushing starring as the Doctor, or Doctor Who as they call it. So the first one that comes in the set is Doctor Who and the Daleks, which is Not too great. And speaking of not too great, something that's, I think, a little bit worse, Dalek Invasion Earth 2150 AD. I mean, it's cool that it's in color, but again, this was before, like, the whole thing of, like, regeneration talk and all that stuff, and, you know, with the whole mythology of the Doctor, like, before it picked up. Again, this was in the early 60s, you know, what could you do? So, obviously, it's kind of weird for me to include that in there, but, you know, it's more known for the actual Doctor Who series. So, of course, with like all these TV series, I try to go in order, but it depends on how they fit on my shelf, like chronologically through year, basically what I mean. So anyway, next we got the Doctor Who William Hartnell Complete Season 2. Now, I don't really understand why, but maybe I do, why they weren't really going in chronological order. Mainly because, like, a lot of the early 60s Doctor Who episodes are lost to time. They've been wiped, removed because, home media wasn't a thing back then. They didn't think anything of it. Not their fault, really, but still. Obviously, it's an okay set, but not a whole lot to say. Unfortunately, I'm not a huge fan of the Hartnell era because it's, like, slow and drawn out. I grew up watching, like, the early 2000s, the mid-2000s Doctor Who, where it had a lot more fast-paced action and stuff, but it's still a cool set. There's only, like, 2 episodes that are missing that they did with telesnap reconstructions, but other than that, there's not a whole lot I can say about it. And then next, speaking of which, we got the Lost in Time collection, where basically it has a collection of, like, surviving episodes from, like, both the William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton era, from when they were the first and second Doctor. So that's all I can really say about it. You would have to, do your research on it just so you know what's in it. But of course, it is outdated because there has been a couple stories that have been complete or nearly complete, just missing 1 episode. So anyway, next we got the John Pertwee Complete Season 2. Not a whole lot I can say about it. Like, I'm not particularly a fan of John Pertwee, and this specific season isn't nothing special in my eyes. I don't know. But it does introduce the Master, which is, like, one of the Doctor's, like, biggest rivals. And then, of course, we got the recent John Pertwee Complete Season 3, which is okay, I guess you could say. I mean, it has the Daleks, it has the special edition of Day of the Daleks, which is pretty cool. And just as soon as this was released, BBC already made an announcement that the Peter Davison Season 2 Blu-ray set is going to come out. Maybe sometime later in the year, or maybe next year, who knows. So next we got the John Pertwee Complete Season 4, and this one's okay, I guess. I mean, I think this was, like, the first one where they released of him, where it has, like, the 3 Doctors and Planet of the Daleks and all that, but not a whole lot I can say about it. So then next we got, well, I think this was the first one that they released, and rightfully so, the Complete Season 1 of Tom Baker. Fantastic season, because, first season of Tom Baker. Has a couple of good episodes on there. Not a whole lot else to say. And then next we got the Complete Season 3 of Tom Baker. And then we got the Complete Season 6, which is pretty cool. And then afterwards we have Tom Baker's final season as the 4th Doctor with the Complete Season 7. And then following in its footsteps after that is the Complete Season 1 of Peter Davison as the 5th Doctor, and as I mentioned before, Season 2 is going to come out soon for him. And then next we got Season 1 and Season 2 of Colin Baker as the 6th Doctor. Unfortunately, not one of my favorite Doctors, and I can definitely say they are both probably the most boring seasons I've seen yet. Maybe the early Hartnell ones are more boring, I don't know, but this season in particular about the whole Trial of a Time Lord thing is so tedious for me to watch. I'm sorry. If you like it, that's cool. I'm fine. There were, like, maybe a couple things I liked in it, but it's just hard for me to watch. And not only that, but it's like a thing called 71 edits, where it's like they're combined together or something. I don't know. Next we got Sylvester McCoy Complete Season 1, and we don't have Season 2 yet, but we also have Season 3, which is the very final season, or series, whatever, of the early Doctor Who era. And then, of course, a few years later, they made a movie, Doctor Who the movie, with Paul McGann as the 8th Doctor, which I think personally is one of my favorite Doctors because it's really cool because of how mysterious this Doctor is and of how you get to see more of him in the Big Finish audio adventures. So, the movie's not great, but it's not too bad, I guess, but unfortunately it didn't kick on, go anywhere because, well, they tried to make a new series with it on Fox, figuring this would be like a pilot, but it didn't really get as much attention in America as it did in the UK. We get to the mid-2000s sequel rebooted series, where we have the complete series of Eccleston and David Tennant, with a couple specials as well. And this is definitely the one that I grew up with. Absolutely love this one. Next we got the animation collection, where it has like a bunch of different animated Doctor Who episodes. I mainly only got this for like 3 of them, because like there's like 2 of them that have David Tennant like animated in there, which are not in the other set for some reason. I don't know. And then of course it includes the Power of the Daleks animated episode with Patrick Troughton, and then Shada, which is a half animated episode. And then Scream of Shalka, which I believe was released as an audio drama, and then they made animated, which is not even canon, so it's like whatever. And then next we got the Sarah Jane Adventures, Season 1 right here. This is obviously a spin-off. And then, of course, I felt like if I had, like, you know, the David Tennant era of Doctor Who, it made sense to get the Sarah Jane Adventures. So there's Season 1 right there, and then Season 2, and then Season 3, and then Season 4, and then the unfortunate last season, which only has 3 episodes. It was mainly because Elizabeth Sladen, who played Sarah Jane, passed away during this time, and it's just so unfortunate. It's another one of those actresses that was gone way too soon from us. So, and then of course we got another weird spin-off called K9, which I think they try to side themselves away from Doctor Who, not even mentioning it. I want to say there might have been like a thing where it's like you can own the rights to it and make a show out of it, but you can't mention the Doctor or something like that. I didn't even watch the series yet. I only watched like maybe a couple minutes of the first episode, and I didn't even understand it. But then we got the Matt Smith era of the 11th Doctor, which I guess is fine, but it's just so confusing, and I don't know if I could watch like the mid-season there again. The other unfortunate thing is that it doesn't even include like the mini episodes from the 50th anniversary special Day of the Doctor. It doesn't have Night of the Doctor or anything like that. You would literally have to get the DVD by itself, or just look it up online or something. And then of course there's the 50th anniversary TV movie, An Adventure in Space and Time, where it talks about William Hartnell, of how he portrayed the first Doctor and all that stuff, which is pretty good actually. And then of course we got the 12th Doctor era of Peter Capaldi as the Doctor, and that's as far as I'll go. So that's pretty much the whole Doctor Who era collection that I got. So then next we got Firefly with Serenity. I think I watched a few episodes of Firefly, and I did watch the Serenity movie, which is pretty cool. Unfortunately, it's not particularly my thing yet, as of now. I don't know. I guess I'd have to watch it all over again just to see if like it piques me interest. I know that like lots of people love this show, and it was, you know, canceled too soon and all that, but I did hear some rumor that there was going to be like an animated series coming soon or something like that. I don't know if that's even true anymore, but regardless of that. Anyway, so next we got Greg the Bunny, another one of those shows that was taken off the air too soon. I think this was just because like it was ahead of its time and TV just didn't want them. And again, it's on Fox. If you expect anything to be on Fox, expect it to be canceled unless it's animated like, you know, The Simpsons or Family Guy. And then of course it went to the Independent Film Channel, where it has these two things. Extremely low budget, obviously, and not a whole lot I can say about it, so we're just gonna move on. Next we got Johnny Test. I don't think this is the complete series, because, you know, Mill Creek only released the first 5 or whatever. Now this was a show I thought was okay when it came out, because, you know, I was a Cartoon Network kid most of the time when I was in middle school, and I thought this was okay. Nothing too special, but it was alright. And then next we got regular show seasons 1 and 2 and the movie. Now, I am aware there is a 3rd season DVD, but the thing is that I'm still waiting for the complete series to be released on DVD. Like, Australia got some sort of weird box set or whatever, and we don't have the complete series yet. I want the complete series of regular show. Cartoon Network, you did a good job releasing like Courage the Cowardly Dog and Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends and Ed, Edd and Eddy on DVD. Please, release regular show on DVD, the entire series, please. And if you include the movie, that'll be a bonus right there. I mean, you released Adventure Time, Cartoon Network, please, release the entire series of this on DVD, I beg you. I love this show. And then, of course, we got the complete series of Cat and Dog. I think the only reason why I got it, because like I saw it for a really high price on eBay for some stupid reason, and I saw it at Walmart for like $12 or something like that, so I decided to pick it up. I don't think that's the case anymore, but if it still is, I'm kind of shocked. And then of course we got the complete series of Danny Phantom. This was another one of those Nickelodeon shows that I watched occasionally when it was on as a kid. Obviously this was the same people who worked on Fairly Odd Parents. I think I only watched like I think a couple episodes, you know, when I got this, but regardless of that, I still like it. So then we're moving on to more stuff right here. So here we got the first 2 seasons of Dinosaurs. Now this has a really unique DVD box right here. It's not like any of those things you open on the sides. This opens just like an egg, and there he is. So there's not a whole lot else to say about it other than it's the first 2 seasons of dinosaurs. And then we got seasons 3 of 4 of dinosaurs as well. And the only nitpick I have about this is that they literally use the exact same screenshots for both DVD cases. Because look, there's the first screenshot right there. And then, oh, they used the exact same one. Why did they do that? Lazy. That's why. They didn't care. They just figured, use the same screenshot. Nobody will know. It's dinosaurs. Who's going to buy it? Anyway, then we got the Ren and Stimpy show. Now, I'm aware that recently there was a complete series, or complete collection, DVD set where it has all the things combined together. And 1, where was that when I wanted it? And 2, not going to get it because it doesn't have some really cool DVDs that come by themselves. Basically, like they have like the slim DVD cases that come by themselves, and I think that's actually really cool. But there's only one flaw. The Ren and Stimpy show uncut of the first and second season isn't uncut at all. It's only uncut in a couple episodes. Now, obviously, it's like owned by Nickelodeon or Paramount or whatever. You know, I get they wanted to like maybe censor some stuff or something, but the thing is that why would they? Because here's the thing. I grew up watching this because this was recorded off of VHS thanks to my dad for recording them off of like MTV or wherever they were on at the time. And it has some stuff that wasn't in there, but at the same time they cut stuff that used to be in there. So what's the point of calling it uncut if you're only going to cut certain things out of it and put some stuff that was never in the original episodes? What the hell is the point of that? Because they literally cut out like the bloody head fairy from a particular episode, or they cut out one scene of the jar spit thing, but yet they put in a deleted scene with like the bars and numbers and stuff at the side of like Ren saying he's going to gouge their eyes out and stuff. So what the hell is the point of saying it's uncut when it's not? I don't get it. It's stupid. It's a stupid release and a horrible excuse for that, and I say they need to re-release it and put the actual uncut episodes on there. Because there's a certain DVD set that actually has the guts to re-release it with uncut episodes. We'll get to that in a second. So, of course, there's also the seasons 3.5-ish, which is pretty stupid, of course. I think that's the intention. And then, of course, season 5 and some more of 4. I haven't watched all these because I only grew up with like the first 2 seasons, obviously. But anyway, aside from that, then we got Ren and Stimpy, the lost episodes. Now, obviously, with Paramount or whoever wanting to cut some of the episodes or censor them, well, my butt, because this is probably one of the most raunchy adult, whatever you want to call it, things ever. Because there's a lot of nudity in there, a lot of profanity, a lot of bizarre, gross, and violent related stuff. Yeah, as soon as I saw like the first couple episodes, I was traumatized. I was never the same after that, because like I grew up watching Ren and Stimpy as a kid, and this is something else. Anyway, aside from that, next we got Beavis and Butthead, the complete collection. Now, this does not have every episode, of course, because there's some episodes that are too sensitive back in the day. Thankfully, my dad still has the episodes that were recorded on VHS. This has some stuff that was cut, like a director's cut, and the only cool thing is that it has like the first, I believe, 3 or 4 volumes of Beavis and Butthead, then the re-release show in the late 2000s or early 2010s, I don't know, and then it includes the movie, which is pretty cool. Now, the only unfortunate thing, which sucks hard, is that they were planning on releasing Beavis and Butthead Do the Universe, which was their second movie, along with the first season that was on like Paramount Plus, but they canceled it. Why? Why would they do that? I really wanted that so bad. And they missed out on an opportunity of, you know, making more money that way. I mean, all the stuff on HBO Max and even, you know, the Cobra Kai series releases all their stuff on DVD. That's a smart move because they can make more money that way, regardless if people have streaming services or not. I, for one, like that because it's a good chance to get some physical copies on it, because who knows, maybe in the future they won't be there anymore. Ever thought about that? And not only that, the Karate Kid movies exist on physical media. Not all of them are streaming everywhere. So why not put it on DVD? It makes sense. But apparently someone decided to pull the plug on that, saying, no one's going to buy Beavis and Butthead on DVD. Nope, not going to do it. Whoever you are, whoever canceled that, you're an idiot. Or as Beavis and Butthead would say, you suck. Haha. So anyway, next we got Daria. Yeah, Daria. Interesting of how a character from Beavis and Butthead would get her own series. How the heck did someone like Daria would get her own series? Now, I haven't even seen the series. Now, I've been told it's good. I got this out of Goodwill. It's in extremely good condition. And I have yet to watch it, so maybe sometime later in my lifetime I'll watch it. I don't know. But it includes quite a lot of extras on there. So there were 5 seasons. Interesting. Well, anyway. And next, we got the complete series of Alf. Now, obviously, this was released in, I believe, the mid to late 2000s when this came out, and this was a big deal for me because, like, as soon as I think my dad got me like the very first season, I was hooked because I loved watching Alf like on the VHSs and stuff. So I figured it would make sense to, well, have the entire series. This has basically all 4 seasons on here. And of course, the animated shows or the animated series would be, released by themselves on different discs. So we got this one right here, 20,000 Years in Driving School and Other Stories, and then of course Alf Tales, which is basically like fairy tale versions of Alf, which is cool, I guess, but not my cup of tea. And then of course we got, this isn't official because they eventually did release an official one recently, basically a bootleg DVD of Project Alf, which is the TV movie many years after the show was canceled. Now, why do I bring this up exactly? Well, recently, Shout Factory acquired the rights to get all the episodes of Alf uncut. Yeah, so basically, like, with the complete collection of Alf right here, this was the first they released it on DVD. However, not really. Because, like, back in the day, there was, like, some copyright issues, I think, because there was, like, certain songs or certain things that they cut out of it, and other deleted scenes or extended scenes that weren't in there. So thankfully with Shout Factory, and bless them for doing this, they are releasing a complete deluxe edition where they have a whole bunch of extras. They have all the uncut episodes that we finally get to see, and not only that, but they even include all the animated episodes and the full-length movie of Project Alf, and they have like a whole bunch of other different bonus features and commentaries with Alf in it, and there's even other stuff where it's like if you pre-order it on shoutfactory.com, you can get all this other extra stuff and like a piece of Melmac and all that stuff, which is cool. But for me, at the moment, I'll just take the DVD because I would really like to see what episodes were originally aired, because I cannot wait for that. I really can't. So the next we got some Christmas related things. Now, technically they're like kind of like mini movies, but I think these were like made for TV. So obviously you get like all the Rankin Bass collections, like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, Santa Claus is Coming to Town, Frosty the Snowman, and includes a bunch of others like The Little Drummer Boy, Cricket on the Hearth, Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, and Frosty Returns, which I don't like, but surprisingly has an interesting cast in it. John Goodman is in it. Yeah, John Goodman. Anyway. And then of course we got here Santa's Magical Stories, which has quite an interesting collection. So obviously the first disc has The Grinch, How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Absolute classic. I mean, you can't go wrong with that. It's a great cartoon. And then it also includes The Leprechaun's Christmas Gold, which... What? And then it includes Pinocchio's Christmas. Okay. Second disc includes Year Without a Santa Claus, which I think some people know, maybe they don't even like. And then Rudolph's Shiny New Year and Nestor the Long-Eared Christmas Donkey. Okay. And then disc 3 has Jack Frost, which I have no idea what it's about, but it also includes a Miser Brothers Christmas, which I think is the Meisner Brothers, Heat Meisner, Snow Meisner from Year Without a Santa Claus, and then Rudolph and Frosty's Christmas in July, which I'm heard is one of the worst specials ever. I haven't seen it, maybe I will in the future, I don't know. And unfortunately, I do not own the complete series set of the original 70s Incredible Hulk series starring Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby. However, I do have the movies that were made for TV. So this one has The Incredible Hulk Returns and The Trial of the Incredible Hulk. And then, of course, the final nail in the coffin, The Death of the Incredible Hulk. Now, I guarantee back in the day, this is probably like the best way you could like see the Hulk on TV, but I don't know. I have yet to own the TV series, but hopefully soon I will. For whatever reason, I don't even know. Maybe it's just completion anxiety I have. Then we have the complete series of The Critic, a pretty good animated show that crossed over with The Simpsons, and not only that, it was the same producers of The Simpsons. And then next, for some reason, I got The Kids in the Hall. So this is basically like a sketch comedy series, and it's mostly more well known for "I'm crushing your head, I'm crushing your head," you know, all that. And it has some funny sketches on there, but honestly, after a long marathon, it's kind of hard for me to sit through. But it's an okay series, not a whole lot else to say. Next, we got Duckman, yes, and it has Jason Alexander from Seinfeld as the voice of Duckman. Now, this is quite a big box set, and I actually like it, but unfortunately, the finale, like the series finale of it, was like very, what the heck is this? Anyway, if you know what I'm talking about, then you know. But other than that, it's a good show. Alright, and then next we got probably one of my most favorite cartoons as a child, the Tom and Jerry Golden Collection Volume 1. Now, obviously, this was like their uncut versions, because, you know, back in the day there was some racial stereotypes they put in there, because, you know, back in the day they didn't think about that. They just, you know, wanted humor in this. So obviously with stuff like that, they had to add a thing where it says, you know, this is sensitive, you know, includes sensitive topics of racial profiling, all that. It was wrong then, it was wrong now, yada yada. And that's fine. I actually don't mind that too much, because you even see that in a couple other Warner Brothers movies, like Gone with the Wind. It has that in there, so it makes sense. But I'm assuming just because of like all the racial stereotypes that are in these cartoons, they never released Volume 2, which is a bit unfortunate. But thankfully they did release the Spotlight collection of volumes 1 through 3 on 4 discs, and it has like a couple other collections on a couple other discs or volumes or whatever you want to call it. So it has quite a lot of cartoons, and it has 112 of them, which is a lot. So yeah, I guess you could say this would be like the Volume 2. And then, of course, for some weird reason, I found this at a Goodwill, the complete collection of Rocky and Bullwinkle. I don't know why I got it, but I guess the same reason for why I got the movie, I guess to include with this, maybe, I don't know. But whatever, I got Rocky and Bullwinkle, I guess. I have not seen it. I've only watched like maybe a couple minutes of like the first episode when I popped this in. I don't know if I could even sit through all of it, to be honest, but we'll see. So then next we got the Peanuts Holiday Collection. So this, of course, has it's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and Charlie Brown Christmas, which are all fantastic cartoons. Absolutely love them. Figured it was about time I, you know, get like, you know, an entire collection of like all the Peanuts cartoons, even if it's not like all of the cartoons. It's the holiday ones, which is most of the majority that people care about anyway. And then I decided to include the Peanuts movie next to it, which is a really great film, and I think Charles Schultz will be very proud if he saw it. Along with Rocky and Bullwinkle, for some weird reason, I decided to get the complete collection of Mr. Magoo. I only watched like maybe a couple episodes. I didn't grow up watching Mr. Magoo, but it's okay. Not a whole lot I can say about it. Do I plan on watching the movie? I don't know. And of course, as I mentioned before, there's the Jimmy Neutron movie with Hey Arnold the movie. I don't know why I got that, but whatever. Double feature, I guess. And then, of course, the complete series of Jimmy Neutron. And this was a show I absolutely loved as a kid. Grew up watching it. It was fantastic. It was that early, mid-2000s CGI animation, which was great, and it's fantastic. Not only that, but it also includes like the original pilot episode from, I believe, the really late 90s, and it even includes all 3 of the Fairly Odd Parents Jimmy Timmy Power Hour crossover episodes, which is awesome. Shout Factory really did God's work on doing that. And then, of course, I believe that this is a bootleg of Planet Sheen. Obviously a spin-off. I watch some episodes of it, but unfortunately it's not really my thing. So we're just going to move on. Alright, next we got South Park, seasons 1 through 5. Now I am aware there are like seasons 6 through 10 and 11 through, I believe, 15 or 14. And I have yet to get those. For some reason, the next box set is really expensive to get. As for the other one, it kind of is, but also not really that expensive. I don't know how to explain it, but it's pretty stupid, to be honest. I think it's because like there's like band episodes, and it's like one of the raunchiest yet funniest shows ever made. But still a good set if you want to get like the first 5 seasons. And the only reason why I got this is because like it has collectors whatever on it, and this is basically called the Little Box of Butters, where it has select episodes that star Butters on different South Park episodes. So it's all spread apart, but it also includes like some interesting little extras, like like a wristband in there, and then like a little necklace and some other weird stuff in there. I don't know how to describe it, but it's pretty cool. not a whole lot to say about it. It's just weird that it's like I find it online on eBay for like $50, then I see those on Amazon for like way less than $50, so I don't know. And then of course I can't forget the South Park movie, along with double featured with Team America World Police, which is both pretty good movies. And then next we got a really big collection right here. So here we got Garfield as himself. Now this has like 3 different TV specials basically, and the same would go for the rest of these. So here we got the Garfield Holiday Celebrations, where it has like his Halloween special, his Thanksgiving special, and his Christmas special. And next we got the Garfield Travel Adventures, which, if I remember correctly, the very first Garfield DVD I had at the time. When I first moved into this house with my dad, I remember owning it, but I don't even remember what happened to it. Like, I remember it, I remember the cartoons in it, I just don't remember what happened to it. But thankfully, after all these years, I finally got one. And then, of course, we got Garfield Fantasies, which is not great. For one thing, Garfield and his 9 lives, I don't even know what to say about that. It's just really bizarre. If you know, you know. So then I got the entire collection of Garfield and Friends, basically like volumes 1 through 5. I grew up watching these mainly from like renting these, or well, you know, from a library basically, and watching any DVDs that they had on there. So it's pretty cool. So there's like volume 1 right here, then volume 2, volume 3, volume 4, and finally volume 5. So that would pretty much be it. And then I just decided, even though it's not really TV, I just decided to include them just because they're Garfield related. Both movies of Garfield, with Bill Murray doing the voice of Garfield. And then of course, because, you know, I'm a kid born in the early 2000s and I grew up with Nickelodeon, I figured it would make sense for me to own the very first 100 episodes of SpongeBob. Not a whole lot I can say about it because it says it itself. The first 100 episodes of SpongeBob, and I love it. Absolutely love it. This is like a meme collector's Bible right here, you know? So anyway, it's perfect, and just for simplicity's sake, I also got like the first 2 movies. Don't care for Sponge Out of Water, but the SpongeBob movie, I'll take that any day. And now technically it's not really TV related, but you know, it's still like a TV show, I guess you could say. You know, it's on YouTube obviously, but I figured, you know, it makes sense because, you know, I wanted it for certain reasons. So Angry Video Game Nerd X. Now I'm a huge fan of the Angry Video Game Nerd. Absolutely love it. Obviously, you know, he didn't want to include any copyrighted like movie clips or songs or anything like that from his episode. So it makes sense that it has like some special edition episodes or anything like that, but it has quite a lot of special features included. It has like literally the first 100 episodes, and I like that. I really do. I believe that with like his DVDs, there's like specific DVDs editions that are on there, which are probably better. But I don't want to go through all that work of trying to find all the DVDs. I'm assuming they're out of print, but I might be wrong. Correct me if I am. And next we got the Angry Video Game Nerd movie. Of course, you know, obviously this was like, back in the day, a movie that I waited so long for. It's like, who's going to make a movie first, Smosh or the Angry Video Game Nerd? It looks like the Angry Video Game Nerd did it first, so kudos to you, man. And just for the heck of it, since I had the ET on Atari 2600, I had the manual that came with it, so I decided to include it with the movie. So why not? And this is kind of related to the Angry Video Game Nerd, Board James. Now this was another one that James Rolfe himself of Cinemassacre also made. I love Board James. It is fantastic. Now, this is literally the YouTube series that made me want to get into filmmaking. This inspired me with like its creativity and editing and all that stuff, and where you put so much thought into something like that, it's amazing. You literally expand your mind from like watching all the episodes and even like watching all the special features. So James, if you're watching this, thank you so much for making Board James. I really hope you make more episodes of Board James. Like, I know you made a finale, but I really, really, really hope you make more because Board James is so good. I love it. It's like, it starts off basically like a simple review show, but then it kind of delves into like a really cool lore. So if you have not seen Board James, watch it. And the other cool, unique thing about this is not just the special features and outtakes that are on this, but there's like some interactivity in it where it's like, on YouTube, there's like a specific episode where it's like, is he the killer, yes or no? Where on YouTube you could originally like click on it, but you can't do that anymore for whatever reason. But on the Blu-ray you can actually do that, where it's like if you pick one side, you still watch all the other episodes. If you pick another side, you watch a different clip, but you still get to watch all the episodes again. And I love that. That's unique, and I love it. That's the reason why I absolutely love this series and this Blu-ray set, so it's perfect. Obviously, you know, related somewhat to the Angry Video Game Nerd because, you know, it's from James Rolfe, of course. But I love Board James, so if you've not seen any episodes of Board James, go to YouTube and watch them all, or get the Blu-ray set if you can. It's freaking amazing. Love Board James. And thank you so much, James, if you're watching this, because you definitely inspired me to become a filmmaker wanting to get into filmmaking school just because of this. Had it not been for me watching any of the Board James episodes, it may not have ever happened. Maybe it still would have, but you know, not like now. So thank you very much, James. So then we got, I don't think this is official, but basically the entire series of The Middle. I grew up watching this. There's a lot of stuff in the show that you can relate to if you live in the Midwest or something like that. You know, I live in Nebraska, obviously. So there's lots of stuff I can relate to if you're not poor but not too wealthy enough. You know what I mean? Obviously, it's like, you know, a family trying to keep a roof above their heads as much as they can while all this stuff happens. So it's definitely a show that I love, and I watched the entire series all over again just because I hadn't seen it in so long, and it's just so great, so funny, so clever, and a lot of stuff that many people can relate to. And then next we got the complete series of Adventure Time. Now, the first, I want to say 4 or 5 seasons I grew up watching, but then as soon as Cartoon Network moved the show's time slot, and then like they moved it to a different day, and then, you know, after that I grew up and didn't even watch it, the later series, or the later seasons, was like, what the hell is even going on right now? Because obviously at first it was like more funny, but yet it's still adventurous, but it was basically covered in fart jokes and stuff. That's what I liked. But the rest of the series was like, what am I watching? But anyway, aside from that, this is a pretty cool box set, because I mean, there's a lot of stuff on here. So, I kind of, basically, it's like the Enchiridion of the show, where it's basically like a book, has artwork, and the DVDs are in these slips, which is a bit annoying to get at times, but it's still pretty unique. And then, in the middle of the book, there is this really, really cool pop-up art. Now that's what you call a DVD set. And then, of course, there's like a bonus feature disc in there, so not a whole lot else for me to say about it, but it's a pretty good set, I can definitely say that. So then next we get to The Tick, the complete animated series of The Tick. Now, obviously, this is also not an official one, this is a bootleg, but it's on Blu-ray, and it's in really good quality. I grew up watching a good couple episodes of The Tick on VHS when my dad recorded it, and I love it. It has literally all 3 seasons on 2 discs, and that's pretty cool. And then, speaking of which, there's also the show on Fox, like in the early 2000s, starring Patrick Warburton as the Tick, also really good. And also another one of those series that was off way too soon, but still love it. And what seems to be the only ones that will ever release on DVD and Blu-ray is Stranger Things Season 1. Now, this is a pretty cool set. Obviously, this was a big deal for when Stranger Things came out. So, obviously, it's made to look like a VHS, clearly, because it has this DVD box thing that looks like a VHS, which is really, really cool. Absolutely love it. And then when you open it to the side right here, open it up, here's the discs. And then there's like an exclusive mini poster in there. And then, of course, like, I moved them around, but basically I put the DVDs on top here, and then there's this little thing right here where if you open it up, there's the Blu-rays right there on the upside down. And then you also see this little, you know, I believe Nancy's hand sticking out of the tree. But it's a really cool DVD set regardless. And then as soon as Season 2 came out, they decided to release Season 2 on there. Now this is also basically like VHS pretty much, where it's like has this weird clear looking thing that you would see on VHSs, whether it's like a rental or whatever. Open it up. Unfortunately, there's no VHS to take out, but it still has like a little thing on there. So you open that up, and there's like 3 Blu-ray discs right there. And then you open that up, and you see Sheriff on there, and then the DVDs that are in there. And then, of course, instead of a poster, you get like exclusive little photos from the cast and crew that are on there, which is pretty cool. There's not a whole lot else I can say about it. I think it's kind of like, this was like when Netflix stopped releasing DVDs, because like obviously with Daredevil, they released like the first 3 seasons on DVD, which are rare to find now. And of course, you know, with Disney owning the rights to the Marvel franchise, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, they moved it to their channel, Disney Plus. And I think it was probably because of this, or whatever, probably because like more people are streaming and stuff, that Netflix decided to stop releasing their series on DVD, which is kind of unfortunate. Because Cobra Kai is literally coming out with season 5 already later in the next month. So you remove Netflix, you have like 4 seasons, and you didn't only decide to release the first 2 on DVD and Blu-ray. Unfortunate that people have to resort to bootlegs. Anyway, next would come Ed, Edd n Eddy. Now, this one's okay. Now, I grew up with Ed, Edd n Eddy. I absolutely love the show. But there's something missing. It's missing the specials, and it's also missing the TV movie on there. Yeah, it's missing the TV movie. What? Why would you overlook that? Like, don't get me wrong, it's fine to have the entire series, but come on, the TV movie? I grew up watching that. I don't even think that's even released on DVD, and as for the specials, I don't know if they are either. But as far as my knowledge goes, the specials aren't even on here. Not even the TV movie's released on here, so Cartoon Network, if you can re-release this somehow, please include the TV movie, or even just include the TV movie by itself. Anyway, next is another series I grew up with, Courage the Cowardly Dog. Honestly, after watching the first couple seasons, it was a lot, not darker, but stranger than I remember it. But it's still not too bad of a show. I love it. And I think when it came around the same time, they made a really odd crossover of Courage the Cowardly Dog meeting Scooby-Doo. I believe it has the same cast members from the show. The special's not too great, but it's okay. And next we got the Simpsons movie. Obviously, I felt like I need to include it. I don't have any seasons of the Simpsons personally in my collection, but I found this at a Goodwill in extremely good shape, along with like the little, what is it? Like the little thing that looks like a newspaper, basically, of like weird stuff and all that. So I like that because it has like that material that definitely feels like a newspaper. So I've never even seen that before, so I figured it makes sense for me to get something like that. Maybe sometime in the future I will get like a huge majority of like the first 20 seasons, but I don't know, maybe I'll wait till like 50 years until the show is canceled, and then wait till like get an entire collection set, which will probably be as big as this door maybe. Anyway, moving on, next we have Resident Alien Season 1. Now, I love this show. Has Alan Tudyk on there from Firefly, and it's a really cool comedy, drama, mystery, thriller, sci-fi fantasy, basically. It's pretty cool. It's very funny. Absolutely love the first season. And then with Season 2, it got more interesting. It was a bit longer, but it was still really good. I really can't wait for Season 3 to come out, so hopefully I'll see that very soon. And then next we got Mr. Bean, the complete collection. Now this has like the first 3 volumes of Mr. Bean, like of the series, of course. And then we got Bean the movie, Mr. Bean's Holiday, which has 2 movies, and then the animated series, which is odd, I guess, but I've never even seen it. I've only seen like, oh boy, maybe just a couple episodes of it. Other than that, it's a pretty good set if you're a huge fan of Mr. Bean like I am. A huge majority of Family Guy DVDs. So here we got Part 1, Volumes 1 through 5. It doesn't exactly label them as like seasons or anything like that. I think you'd have to do some research on it, but aside from that, it's a good set. And then next we got the, I guess you could say, made direct-to-video, or maybe it was on TV, movie of Stewie Griffin, The Untold Story. And just for bonus sakes, I also got Off the Cutting Room Floor, which is basically like a bonus DVD, which I think I almost forgot that there's also like a Walmart exclusive bonus disc with, I want to say it was Volume 5 of Family Guy, where you could only get it via Walmart, and I don't know why I got it. It's not really that much. It's just a Comic-Con interview of the DVD, and that's pretty much it. So, anyway. And then, of course, we got the Family Guy trilogy, the Star Wars parody trilogy, which is absolutely hilarious. Love it to death. And then, of course, there's Part 2, Volumes 6 through 10, which is pretty good. And then the band episode, Partial Terms of Endearment. And it has this nice little slipcover right there that you can see. And it's just, obscured by that. So, it's pretty cool. An okay episode, I guess. I can definitely see why they banned it in some places. And then, of course, we got Part 3, where it actually labels Seasons 10 through 14. And if you're wondering, yes, this is the one where it includes the Simpsons crossover, just for you people who wanted to know. And then, of course, I got like a couple other things here. Then we got like Season 15, and then Season 16, and then Seth MacFarlane's Cavalcade of Cartoon Comedy, which is pretty good, and probably some of the raunchiest things I've ever seen, but it's still pretty funny. bear with me, we're almost done. So next we got the Friends complete series on DVD. Now, probably just like a huge majority of people, they may not like Friends, or maybe they do like Friends. With me, I watched Friends, the entire series all the way through on Netflix, and I figured, well, it's going to be taken off of Netflix in the future, so I figured I might as well get the DVD, and I did. But not only that, for that reason, but there's something really cool about this DVD set, not just the special features and bloopers that are included with it. It includes some cut stuff that weren't originally aired, like this clip, for example.
Hungry? There's a bear shit in the woods?
I know, that was, I don't remember that at all, and that's only if you get the DVD. Netflix won't do that. So then, the same story pretty much goes for The Office. I watched the entire series on Netflix, so I figured it makes sense that since it's going to be taken off of Netflix in the future, get the entire series of The Office. Pretty good show. Obviously, when Steve Carell, who played as Michael Scott, left the show, wasn't the same after that. Hated the new characters they put in, it just didn't feel the same. Like, obviously John Krasinski and, Dwight Schrute tried to pick up what's left of the show. It only lasted for like 3 more seasons, but other than that, the rest of the series is just But I still love the show. Absolutely love it. And of course, speaking of favorite sitcoms, The Big Bang Theory. Not only something I can really relate to because, I'm a nerd, these nerds right here made it up to, I believe, 12 seasons? Or was it 11 seasons? Let's find out. 12 seasons. See, that's a lot. Absolutely love the show. Clever writing, clever stuff. A lot of celebrities in there, a lot of nerdy stuff in there. Just my taste. And finally, we're at the last majority right here. So we got Married with Children, another one of my favorite sitcoms. Absolutely hilarious, just perfect. And then, I don't know, for whatever reason, the complete series of Full House. Why not? And of course, one of my most recent DVD series, the complete series of Seinfeld. A lot of good stuff in here. Not a whole lot else I can say about it, but there's way too many different DVDs that exist of collector's editions and DVDs of Seinfeld, so yeah. So that's basically my entire TV show DVD collection and all that. It's quite a lot, and I'm still planning on getting more in the future. Like, there's a Looney Tunes Golden Collection I hope to get sometime soon, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff I know. Like, as I mentioned, Alf is coming with a deluxe edition, in a couple of months, and I guarantee there's lots of other TV shows that'll be released in the near future. So, I don't know. Maybe I should make an update collection of, like, all my movies and stuff, but that's going to take some time, so I'm not particularly worried about that. Maybe, like, 10 years from now I'll do something like that. But maybe next time I can also do as I mentioned earlier, probably a video game collection of like all my video games. I don't necessarily need to show the consoles, but I could show off like the accessories and a whole bunch of other different stuff. So if you guys want to, if you're interested in watching a video game collection, let me know and I'll do it whenever I can. If you want to follow me on any type of social media, what I can suggest is Ben Walker's Collectibles, where basically I show off a whole bunch of my different, collectible memorabilia of action figures or whatever else that might be on my mind. So thank you everybody so much for watching. Go ahead and watch all the other videos of my collections, like the Kaiju collections and the movie collections and all that. So thank you very much for watching if you made it all the way to the end, and I'll see you next time.